From The Walking Dead at the Winchester to The Barely Clothed in Sheffield, these films had us in hysterics. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British comedy films.
Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content.
For this list, we're focusing on the best laugh-out-loud comedy films to hail from the British Isles, from classic Ealing comedies to raunchy rom-coms. And just to be clear, we're keeping to one entry per franchise.
No, that's the point. Don't let anyone tell you what to do.
Number 10, In the Loop.
Lesson 1. I tell you to f*** off, what do you do?
We're starting off a little left field with a contemporary comedy about politics. After the British cabinet minister makes a controversial remark about war in the Middle East, political advisors come rushing in to clean up, one of which is Malcolm Tucker. Yes, the same Malcolm Tucker from the series The Thick of It.
I'm a cabinet minister.
Yeah.
I didn't get here by screwing up every media appearance I ever had.
With ruthless satire coming out of its ears, it will appeal to those who frequently get frustrated by the farce of bureaucratic faff, like international relations, for example.
No, hang on, for a start! Turn that rocket off!
Turn it off.
Number 9, The Full Monty. To a film about unemployed steelworkers turned amateur male strippers next. Stay with us. Crude on the surface, but superbly written nonetheless, The Full Monty stars the likes of Robert Carlyle, Mark Addy and Tom Wilkinson, who with the help of a killer soundtrack and some revealing underwear, aim to keep themselves financially afloat.
1, 2, 3.
Filled with memorable visuals, dialogue and music, the latter of which it won an Oscar for, it's stripped back comedy at its best. Number 8, The Return of the Pink Panther.
Well, if there is a lady, there must be a lid.
A what?
One of many films in the Inspector Clouseau saga, this film features Peter Sellers as the titular detective, who's half Sherlock Holmes and half Charlie Chaplin.
How was I to know he was the bank manager?
How were you to know the bank was being robbed?
That is correct.
What is correct?
I did not know the bank was being robbed.
With scenes excruciatingly frustrating yet hilarious to watch, it's a classic example of slapstick humour and of Sellers' comic abilities. Whether he's trying to pronounce a difficult word, find out where his servant is hiding, or analysing a crime scene, you can always expect him to cock it up. Number 7, 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
To take thee, Lydia Jane Hibbert, to be my awful wedded wife.
Loads of films offer a taste of British humour, but nothing quite taps into the farce of British culture as effectively as 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
You like this girl, don't you?
Less about the eponymous events themselves and more about the tricky relationships that surround them, it's a film packed with awkward social situations.
For the first time in my whole life, I realised I totally and utterly loved one person.
With Hugh Grant in the leading role and a supporting cast that includes Andy McDowell and John Hannah, it's funny and often exceptionally cringy to watch, with awful best man speeches and knockout ceremonies.
When Bernard told me he was getting engaged to Lydia, I congratulated him because all his other girlfriends had been such complete dogs.
Number 6, Kind Hearts and Coronets. It's not often you associate comedy with a killing spree, but that's what this film's all about. It stars Dennis Price as Louis Mazzini, the 10th Duke of Chalfont, who seeks revenge on the aristocratic Gascoigne family for disowning his mother. Vowing to claim his dukedom, he decides to bump off all those that stand in his way, including almost 10 members of the Gascoigne family, all amusingly played by Alec Guinness. Elaborate kills, nail-biting near misses, and first-rate comic timing by Guinness make this a must-watch for any old-school comedy fan.
Bravo, Edith.
Number 5, A Fish Called Wanda.
He porится, he плачется, he talk, легко, легко.
From two of the famed Pythons, John Cleese and Michael Palin, comes a feature film about a diamond heist and the comedy of errors that follows. Written by Cleese, it's crammed full of intelligent wordplay and varied characters, including an Anglophobic Kevin Kline, stuttering Palin, and flirtatious Jamie Lee Curtis.
Which hotel?
Although ridiculous throughout, it still manages to deliver an engrossing plot, and some of Cleese and Palin's best moments on screen.
Stupid jerk. I mean, what the are you doing? Robbing your own house, you asshole! You stupid, stiff pompous English.
But Klein steals the show and actually won a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his efforts.
I love watching your ass when you walk. Is that beautiful or what?
Number 4, The Ladykillers.
Professor.
A sweet old lady and a gang of conniving criminals, an uneven match? Think again. Serial manipulator Professor Marcus, played again by Alec Guinness, needs a HQ for a robbery he's planning, so he uses the old lady's spare room.
No, Professor. You didn't tell me the truth about yourself and these other gentlemen.
Dodging her suspicions and her parrots by posing as a string quintet, he embarks on an elaborate ruse which is a little darker than some other Ealing comedies, but it's got bundles of laughs all the same.
I still don't think it can be said to be enough justification.
And who said it needed a remake? We certainly didn't. What we will say though is hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you do, we will petition for rubbish remakes never to be made again. Probably.
I'm so very sorry. I propose that we consider this matter closed.
Number 3, Shaun of the Dead.
Ensure all residences are secure with all doors and windows firmly locked and barricaded.
We could have chosen either of the hugely successful entries in the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, but we've opted for the debut effort.
Oh, thank God for that.
Drawing on all the zombie apocalypse cliches you can think of, from holding up in a safe house to using everyday household items as weapons, Shaun of the Dead offers the perfect balance of satirical humour and horror.
Okay, John, it's time at the bar.
Together with snappy editing and the excellent directorial eye of Edgar Wright, it's one of the UK's best loved films, and for a very good reason.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Yeah, boy!
Number 2, Withnail and I.
I'm making time.
A slightly different look at the British countryside next, with Bruce Robinson's cult classic about two struggling actors, played by Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann.
Well, I swear, I've looked into it. Listen to me, listen to me. There are things in there. There's a tea bag.
This film really is endlessly quotable, giving us an insight into the dingy, dirty, and decrepit lives of two guys who are either drinking themselves stupid, getting high, or generally complaining about life's injustices.
I called him a ponce. And now I'm calling you one. Ponce!
Taking a trip to the countryside, they clash with the locals, kill chickens, tangle with horny bulls, and meet the slightly uncouth Uncle Monty.
Shut up, Withnail.
Run at it, shouting!
Do as he says, start shouting.
Number 1, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
What is your quest? I seek the Grail. What is your favorite color? Blue.
Let's be honest, we could have easily had all three of Monty Python's feature-length big hitters claiming the podium spots on this list, but we've decided to roll with the troops' take on the legend of King Arthur.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch.
Injecting their infectious comedy into every facet of medieval life, it plays out like a seamlessly linked chain of entertaining skits, all wrapped up in an absurd narrative.
If she weighs the same as a duck, she's made of wood!
From the she's a witch scene to the limbless Black Knight, it's typical Python and it's absolutely timeless.
I don't want to talk to you no more, you empty-headed animal food trough whopper. I fart in your general direction.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and subscribe for more great content.